Hi, happy April. I am going to give you a quick update on a few different things. One is values, another is interest rates, and then we're going to talk briefly about something you may be hearing about in the media, which has to do with sellers and buyers representation and who pays commissions and how that's done. So first, how is the current market? Around this area, which is Long Beach, Seal Beach, Los Alamitos, Huntington Beach, this entire coastal area, values are holding strong. Prices under 2 million, and especially under $1 million, are still going up a little bit, and prices over 2 million generally are just holding and stable. Now, interest rates. So we were all expecting interest rates to come down a little bit earlier this year, and they have not. They have been somewhat stable, ticking up and down here and there. And the Feds have announced that they are probably going to do the first drop in June. So this is really great for both buyers and sellers. We're hoping for, besides that June drop, another one, maybe two before the end of the year. Now that doesn't mean that rates are going to come back down to 3%. That's not going to happen. We're hoping for maybe low sixes, something like that by the end of the year. Now, regarding buyer broker representation and regarding the fact that you've probably been hearing in the news that sellers no longer will have to pay buyer's agent's commission, which that is kind of a false headline. So let me back into it a little bit. The decision that was made after all these lawsuits and the settlement it's still to be approved, but both parties have agreed to it. The decision that's been made is that they're going to decouple commissions, which means no longer does the listing agent negotiate with the seller how much the listing agent and the buyer's agent are going to make. So now the listing agent and the seller only decide how much is going to be paid to the listing agent. And then also they'll talk about if the seller is willing to pay, it's now going to be called concessions, to the buyer to help pay their agent. You can agree on a certain amount, but this is where the negotiations come in, because the beauty now is that both buyer and seller can negotiate on that amount based on how good the offer is that the buyer is going to bring in. There is going to be a box that can be advertised in a multiple listing service where it says the seller is willing to consider giving concessions to the buyer to pay their agent. You don't necessarily need to say the amount. So it's absolutely no longer allowed for the seller and the listing agent to put in the multiple listings service exactly how much is going to be paid to the buyer's agent as a default number. It's no longer allowed to be advertised. So that's one part. And now the other part is all buyers will now need to be represented by an agent. So when you're a buyer and you're out looking for homes, you're going to be looking at homes with an agent. You and that agent are going to sit down. There's going to be a form you fill out, and that basically says that this agent is going to represent you on the purchase of your home. And on that form, there's going to be a number that states how much you are going to pay that agent to represent you. Now, this is where it gets tricky, and we don't know for sure how this is all going to play out. But what we believe is going to happen is that when you write an offer with that agent, that you're going to ask the seller to pay for the commission for the buyer's agent from the seller concessions. This is a negotiable number. So we are waiting to find out exactly how everything is going to take place. This sounds like these are really big changes, and they are big changes, but I think in the long run, it's a different way to get to the same result. Now, in most cases, we hope the seller is still going to be able to pay the buyer's agent through these concessions to be paid to the buyer, and then the buyer can use that money to to pay their agent. But we have to see how it's going to go. And the date that this is all going to take place supposedly is July 15th, but there is a lot that needs to happen before then. And we don't know exactly how it's all going to be implemented. But in the meantime, this at least is a little bit of information. Obviously, buyer's agents still need to get paid. The seller is the person who tends to have the money to do that. A lot of buyers are not going to have the money to pay the buyer's agent. So it seems like this is a logical way that this is going to take place. But I will keep you posted. I will keep doing these videos, and you can call me, of course, if you have any questions, email me, text me, and I will try to at least every other week do an updated post with what is going on with this. All right, thank you. Have a great April. Bye.